Good morning, friends. Uh, in this class, ITT 420 System Administrator and Management Practice, we will explain our Chapter 1. My name is Kurdo Jaza Mahmoud, and if you want to reach me, you may email me with kurdo.jaza@unique.edu.iq. Now, what is our chapter objective or this chapter objective? First, examining the role of SA in an organization, discuss ethical responsibility of SA and other with privileged technical access, examining examine the issues that every side should consider in building the SA team, elaborate communication and negotiation skill required in dealing with stakeholders. Well, UCSA stand for System Administrator. And what is System Administrator? We will talk about and what is its role. Then again, we will talk about in the next slides. Now, this would be our outline, the roles of a system administrator, ethics and organizational structure, perception and visibility, time management, communication and negotiation, the motivation. You see the many roles of a system administrator. In small companies, they tend to require people to fill multiple roles. They will ask for one person for five jobs. This is the small companies or in the local companies. In the larger companies or semi-international companies, they want people to be specialized. Okay. However, in the mega corporation that they have a HQ and they have many branches and their services spread around the world, they have people so specialized it can seem bizarre to outsiders. Okay. Now, as a system admin, you have positive role, negative role, team role. What do we mean by each one? We will now explain. Now, the positive role, these roles make a system administrator indispensable. They cannot let you go in an organization or we can also say in a company. The first role would be the installer. What would be your job? It would be set up a system and handle new deployments. Now, the repair person, your job would be fixing technical failure and restore operations. The problem preventer, which this one in every company is kind of very important, which your job would be plans ahead to stop issues before they happen even. And then the problem preventer, this comes with experience. Once you have experience in a certain area, you can plan and make sure that a problem will not even happen, not happen, and how to handle it. The maintainer keeps systems stable and running smoothly. The hero step up in a critical moments to save the day. And it's correct that we have a problem. However, every time that someone in a very critical moment work with that have enough knowledge about the problem that happened can step up and fix the problem in the last moment. The infrastructure builder will be the person that will build DNS, database, network, and the backbone. This kind of would be used as semi-international because they will have a very specific infrastructure. Also, the policy writer define the rules, what will happen, what should happen, when should happen, and why that happened. Now, it is correct that we will have a negative role. However, we will try to expose you to these roles that are negative in order to make sure that you will make sure that you will not be in this team. These behaviors damage trust and harm the organization. Okay, the first role will be the bleeding edger. Okay, this problem or the problem would be if you are a person that deploy new tech before it's ready, you will be the person that will be called the bleeding edger. Now, the technology scholar, you would be that person to refuse to adopt anything new. Okay. However, this is not always bad when uh, when to refuse something new, because we said in the first one, deploy new technology before it's ready. you will be a bleeding edge. However, don't be the technology staller. If there's a new good technology and you know that it is working after checking it and after you see it is ready, you may adopt it. Or the SA who cried wolf. Okay, treat you would be if you are a cried wolf, you would be that person that treat every small risk as a crisis. Okay, don't be that person because you see, in life there are some risks, and network system administrators are no exception. They will have some risks to take. However, you should study the problem beforehand to make sure that these problems will not happen, and if happen, how to handle it. The cowboy would be the person that act without planning or backup plan. Well, you see, sometimes you would do something, you would implement a new technology. However, it will not go as it is planned. Now, you should have your backup plan. In this sense, if you are acting without a plan or backup plan, you will be called cowboy, the slave, and the scapegoat. Works blindly without understanding the big picture. Don't be that person, okay? You should understand entirely the work. Sometime, if your manager asks you to do something, don't say right away, sure, if you are not understand it well, if you didn't understand the problem, and if you see any risks, you should tell them so that after all, it will not be only on you, and everyone is involved in the process. Now, the team role, the within the SA team, people made different roles. However, the diversity helps keep the team balanced. Okay, you may have these team roles. Is it good or is it bad? Sometime yes, sometime no. However, you should be able to be work with each team role as efficient as you can. Well, the end-to-end expert solve complex multi-system problems. Okay, we will have this role that is quite expert, and anything you tell him, he or she can understand the process and can tell you the solution. Now, the outsider would be bringing a fresh perspective to all problems. That would be a team role, and it will be called outsider. Now, the third role would be the level focused person, which understand the both technical and management level. Okay, and the manager that takes on too much, and feels constantly overworked. Okay, and repetitive task doer. Sometimes you may say, well, the repetitive task doer is that person that will not want to change his career, or the one is not wanting to change his role, and he's very comfortable in his place. However, it is the person that handles routine work. Believe it or not, we will have routine work that someone should handle it. And of course, if we have some employees or some team members that doing the routine work, it will make the freeing up the senior SA times. Now, what is ethics? Ethics in as a system administrator. Ethic isn't optional. It is a professional and legal responsibility. Ethic is equal to those principles of conduct that govern a group, different from personal morals. Ethics is a personal of principles of conduct that govern the group, not personally. Two categories of ethics policies in IT in general: policies that apply to all users, policies that apply only to privileged users. We may have different category of ethics policies. Now, you see law like Serbian Olex Act SOX now require organization to enforce ethical IT policies. Informed consent, originally from medical ethics, now applied in system administrator work also. Users must know the rules they operate under. Okay, you should tell them, or the users should know what is the rules that they will operate under that rule. For example, if an acceptable use policy exists, user must be informed about it. Users should consent to change made of their system, especially in unusual situation. And don't do things to user system without them knowing. Okay. In another word, you are working in a company and there need to be some changes with their computers. Believe it or not, you should tell them that we will do some changes. If you have something special, if you have some files, please back up them because you may lose your files. Of course, this is not a very good way to start a conversation with. However, you should tell them. Now, code of ethics, we have the system administrative code of ethics. I will recommend to read each one: professionalism, personal integrity, privacy laws, communication system integrity, education responsibility and community, social responsibility, and ethical responsibility. Even if you're not a system administrator, in the future you may have. So if you know these roles, it will be good for yourself and it shows that you are working based on standard. Now, this would be the points. Professionalism is to treat everyone fairly, not personal bias. Personal integrity, be honest about mistakes, ask for help when needed. Now, privacy, access private data only when required by the job, not anytime you like to do it. System integrity keeps system reliable, available, and secure for the end users or for those users that they are using the system. Otherwise, your job will be gone. Education, keep learning and share knowledge with others. That would be a very good uh, code of ethic. Social responsibility, encourage ethical policies in the organization. Make sure that when you see something wrong, as long as it is it is the very big problem, or sometimes not even big problem, it's a problem for the entire organization. You should tell that person, or in case that you see that it is hard to deal with that person, you should tell the upper management. Now, customer usage guideline. Every organization needs a rule for acceptable computer use. Your job as a system administrator is to make sure that when you give a computer to someone, you tell him or her what to do with that computer and what is the usage guideline for the computer. Now, companies call it an AUP, acceptable use policy, or it is okay if you used your computer for these works. Okay, universities or colleges call it user code of conduct. User must be informed that network monitoring may occur. Okay, in your company, let's say that you give your one of the laptop to a person or a new employee. That new employee should be aware of the usage guideline. And if you have a network monitoring, you should tell him or her. Please make sure to tell them, don't make it secret and to wait for someone to do something unethical and caught it in the way. The AUP and UCC must define and forbid threatening and harassing behavior. You should tell them that you cannot use your laptop for threatening or harassing behavior of call your colleagues or even an outside person. Explain how to report violation and explain how complaints uh, are handled. Now, clear usage rule protect both user and organization. Privileged access code of conduct. Well, more with more access, you will have more responsibility. Root is not a playground. When you give someone more access in your organization, you should tell them the code of conduct, okay, or the rules that comes with this privilege. Some users need root admin to access to do their jobs. It is not like they like to have it. They will need the root or admin access. With that comes responsibility. You should tell them. And the code of conduct must include the code of conduct for someone that asks for root or admin access. You should this would be inside the code of conduct that will be given to him, or you will be telling him. Privileged access come with a responsibility to use it properly. You make sure that you tell them to use it in a proper way. Elevate access is only for work related tasks, nothing personal. If you give them the root or admin privilege, that person should only use it for work, nothing else. Mistakes happen, procedure must exist to minimize damages. Okay, you should tell them that in case of mistake, This this would be the procedure that we will take it. Violation can lead to termination or legal consequences. You should tell them that if you violate one of these rules or any other rules that have not, that it is not mentioned in here, however, it will harm the reputation of organization or the normal workflow. At the time, you should tell that person that this would be cause or would lead to termination or some legal consequences or penalty or even deducting of the salary or something like that, based on the policies of the organization. Now, copyright adherence. Some organization must have policies requiring members to follow copyright laws. For example, software piracy is very common. Many don't realize borrowing software is illegal. A good copyright policy is written in plain language. When you write a copyright policy, you write it in a very plain language or in an easy language that everyone can understand it. So no one after some time says, "Well, I did not understand it." That would be a problem. Easy to understand for non-technical staff. Make sure that to write it in a way to so that everyone will understand it. Don't use too many technical terms that not everyone is familiar with. Some companies go further and says no software installation without the management approval. Okay, because you see, after all, the management or the company's higher board of trustee, they will be responsible for any piracy software or anything. And the problem of software piracy is not that a company that you have installed the software piracy will ask you for the money, like in case of Windows. Sometimes those piracy Windows or Microsoft Offices, they will have some type of bugs or malware that will affect the entire uh, building, entire organization. So you should be aware. Working with law enforcement. Sometimes organizations must have a clear policy so that the system must know what to do if a law enforcement contact them. Sometimes there would be in cases that law enforcement they will contact you for doing something or to give them something. It is the job of an organization to tell you or give you a clear policy on how to work with them or how to contact with them. The goal is to comply with the legal obligation, but share the absolute minimum information required. Okay? If they ask you for anything, you should only give them those. Okay? Because after all, the organization or the company is responsible for everything, and they should put the clear policy. Always verify the identity of that person who claimed to be the law enforcement, because sometimes you may be hijacked or be a victim of the social engineering attack. At that time, it would be your job first to verify the identity that person before sharing anything with them. How to handle it? Do not share anything immediately. Why? Because first of all, it is not your job directly to share everything. It will be your job to contact your legal or management team. Okay, you may have a lawyer in your company, or you may have your management, let's say CEO of your company. You should talk with them. Then only provide that legally required. Provide only those information that they legally ask for it, and your legal team says that it is okay to share with them. Now, setting expectation on the privacy and monitoring. Well, setting a privacy and monitoring policy is a fundamental ethical requirement. When employees are hired, they should sign a document confirming that they have read and understood the policy. Keeping employees uninformed about the monitoring is dangerous legally and operationally. So you would have uh, your form that says inside our company with our laptops, everything is monitored. And of course, in some big companies or in finance, for example, emails are routinely monitored for legal activities like insider trading. Insider trading is one of the problems that in Europe and America uh, there's this problem. However, in our world or in our third world countries, somehow it is not that problem, still it would be uh, an illegal activity to do it. What is a good policy covers? What is being monitored? If you make sure that the new employee will sign up that uh, privacy and monitoring agreement, you should tell them that your email, your internet, your login activity, and anything with that computer would be monitored. Who has access to monitored data? Okay, and under with condition monitoring results are shared. Now, being told to do something illegal or unethical, it happens, and a manager or a senior person asks you to do something that crosses the line. Okay, it is not legal; it is illegal. The most important thing is to keep a record of everything, date, time, and conversation. However, there's a step for this. When someone asks you to do something illegal, first you should verify. Did you hear it correctly? Ask for clarification, because sometimes they did not ask for it. They did not ask for illegal or unethical thing. Or they just ask for something that you did not correctly understand. So first, verify. Then check, is it actually against the policy or law? Consult written policy or trusted person. Then, if it is wrong, reject it. Politely but clearly refuse the document, refuse and document the refusal. Now, observing illegal activity. I don't know if you know about Edward Snowden. There's a movie named Snowden. I recommend you to watch it. It's about the work of someone that worked with NSA and CIA that saw something illegal and he whistleblowed it. What is whistleblowing? Often essays are in position to observe illegal behavior committed by organization. Now, until now, we said the employees. Now, even sometime the organization will do something illegal. That would be the job of the SA to report such activity, and it will be called whistleblower. Organizational structure. How an SA team is structured and how this structure fits into the larger organization are major factors in success or failure of your team or of the team. The ideal system administrator team is one that can provide the right level of service at the lowest possible cost. Now, sizing. Making your system administrator team the correct size is difficult. If it is too small, it will be ineffective and you will have too many jobs and you will not reach it. And the rest of the company will suffer through the unreliable infrastructure and poor customer service. If the team is too large, the company will incur unnecessary costs and communication among the SAs will be more difficult. If the team is too large, so the company will say that, well, this is a lot of persons and we will not need them. And of course, the even communication between you, each other, system administrators, will be very difficult. Gather real data from your organization to see where SAs are spending their time and defining system level agreement SLAs with your customers and use those SLA to help site the SA team properly or appropriately. Now, funding models. The primary reason that the SA function is generally understaffed is that it is viewed as a cost center rather than as a profit center. We have two funding models, decentralized, centralized model. Decentralized model is to give individual departments better or more customized services through the having a stronger relationship with their essays and more control over the work that they do. Centralizing system administration is to control costs through tracking them centrally and then reducing them by eliminating redundancy and taking advantage of economies of scale. Now, management chain influence. The management chain can have considerable influence on how the system administration organization is run. When the system administration function reports through the CTO or engineering organization, the group generally is quite well funded because it is a part of a profit center that can directly see the result of investment in a system administration. In contrast, or in the other side, if reporting through COO or Chief Operation Officer or Chief Financial Officer, means that the system administration function is the cost center and tend to receive less money. In another word, in your organization, if you have your CTO, CTO stands for Chief Technology Officer, the person that have more experience than you and than the rest of the team, and anything happen, you tell that person, it means that, well, the organization thinks about the system administration function, and they are sure that they will do their job better, because CDO, after all, understand the job. However, if you're reporting to your financial officer or to operation officer, it means that your job is a cost center, okay, and tend to receive less money. Infrastructure teams. An infrastructure team will look after centralized services such as authentication, printing, email, name services, calendar services, networking, remote access, directory services, and security. Modern computing infrastructure rely heavily on network and network services to make sure that you will have a very basic network knowledge, and if it is required by the job, you should have your uh, a well-known knowledge about your network. If a network or a network service architecture is badly designed or managed, it increases the SA workload, will cost, and customer dissatisfaction. Infrastructure team must be cohesive unit, even if it is spread over the multiple location. Customer support. Make sure that these points are very important, because nearly all the time, as a system administrator or even an IT guy, you will work with the customers. Your customers would be the employees sometime that uh, that works in the same organization as you, or sometimes you are an organization that provide IT supports, and you will have your own customer. For example, an old lady that don't know how to print their printers, how to use their printers or connect the printers. So now we will talk about customer support. Customer support means making sure that customers can work effectively. Customer support generally works best in a more distributed model, in contrast to infrastructure support. Customers like to know who their support people are. Customers build a relationship with their local SA or system administrator and become familiar with the person, the way of working, and communication style. Outsourcing. If a system administration is not a key part of a company's business, the company may prefer to outsource the entire area to an outsourced contract company, or telling a company that works in the marketing, or, like, let's say, networking, to come and install the company's network. For e-commerce sites, IT and system administration are a part of the core business, not only the part of a business of a core business. Companies that rely on highly available computer system will find that outsourcing contracts becomes prohibitively expensive, because e-commerce sites are kind of very important to have IT and system administration. And if anytime that you have something, you will ask for a company to come and do it, they will ask for a very chunk of money, and it will be quite expensive for you. Now, security is another sensitive subject in this era of outsourcing. Okay, because the company will have that come and do your job, will have enough information about your company and how your company is working in the term of network, let's say. It will be a security risk. Many companies outsource their internet presence to some degree by putting their internet service machine into co-location or call center. Sample organizational structures. Small company. A small company will have one or two SA who are expected to cover all bases between them. Okay, they will bring one or two IT guys, and they will ask them to do everything. There will be no formal help desk. Through request should be funneled through the request tracking system. Only one of the SA will be involved in designing and implementing new services as they are required. Medium-sized company. In a mid-sized company, the SA start to specialize a bit more. A help desk team with dedicated personnel should have been formed. Some system administrators will specialize in a specific OS. For example, some of SAs they will specialize in Linux or Windows or Mac OS for the Mac OS users. Others will take on networking or security specialties. The architecture generally will also be implementers. Ideally, should be capable of solving end-to-end problems involving the several technologies. Now, in a large company will have a high degree of specialization among the SAs, a well-staffed help desk with a clearly defined second-tier support team for more difficult problems. A large company will have at least one architect for each technology area and teams of implementers for each area. The company may have a regional SA organization or SA organizations dedicated to subdiaries or large business divisions. E-commerce sites, company with a large e-commerce site need two separate SA teams. One to support only the internet presence, because after all, an e-commerce site, their main job is internet presence. If they don't have internet, no one can reach their e-commerce website, let's say, and this means the shutdown of the business. And the other support only the corporate systems, or let's say helping those users that they use the computers and let's say they have a problem with the printer or something like that, you will help them. So they will have two different teams. Sample organizational structures, universities and nonprofit organization, typically they have a very limited budget, so it is vital that all money is available for computing be used properly. It is the best interest of university or nonprofit organization to centralize as much as possible and to work as a team. Requires strong leadership from the head of organization and a good service from a central SA team. Perception and visibility. Perception is how people see you. It is a measure of equality. Now, visibility is how much people see of you, and it's a measure of quantity. Many SA believe that if they do their technical part of their job well, they will be perceived well and will be visible. This is not true, actually. Perception. Customers perceive the efficiency of the work you do not by how hard you work, but how soon their requests are completed. Key elements for SA is to achieve positive perception, a good first impression, attitude, perception, and customers aligning priorities with customer expectation. The system advocates. Now, a good first impression. Now, it is important to make a good first impression with your customers. If you get off on a wrong foot, it is difficult to regain their trust. And believe me, it's quite important. Outward appearance. Be on time, early, polite, friendly, and willing to listen. Pay attention to what you hear, what you wear, because after all, it's appearance. Staying calm, don't yell during the disagreement or because you are frustrated with someone in an otherwise calm situation. Okay, make sure to not yell and do not tell the person that he's stupid or she's stupid to do things like that. Tell them respectfully and explain the situation for them. Now, first impression for new hires, you need to make sure that when they arrive, they will find their computers in their offices configured, accounts created, and everything working properly. On the employee's first day, the friendliest member of your SA team should visit the person to do some kind of in-person orientation. Now, attitude, perception, and customers. The number one attitude problem among the essays is blatant disrespect for the people whom they are hired to serve. Don't be that person, okay? Don't bully anyone. Conversely, an essay can get into trouble if he or she adopt the attitude that the customer is always right. Related to the situation is frustration from the believing that all your customers are stupid or that they are always called to helpline with a dumb question. Create the opportunities to interact with your customers in which they won't be coming to you with problems. Now, the system advocate, the advocate who proactively solve their problem and lobby for their needs, who who is proactive about her customer technical needs, advocates those needs to management, automates the clerical task. Advocate situation handling and installing a software would be an advocate situation that you would handle. Solving a performance problem, there will be a new hire or the person that says, well, my computer is not working as it should, and it is quite hot, my computer, and sometimes the fans are quite loud. So you will solve that performance problem for them. And simple automation, that would be for an organization. Visibility, the SA visibility paradox is that essays are noticed only if something is break. Management may get impressions that the essays are needed because it does not see that work required. And this, believe me, would be the main problem of nearly most of the companies in the Kurdistan. Then a server crashes every hour until a controller is replaced. Suddenly, the SA valuable. Okay, the following is a way to boost your visibility to make sure that they will not say, well, we don't need IT guy. Okay, well, what do they do after all? Okay, first it would be management meeting. The manager can stay abreast of which kind of work is being requested by the staff and help prioritize this project. Educate manager about infrastructure change being made. And visibility, physical visibility. Where you sit, you may cause to be off-site or out of mind. If your office is hidden behind a physical barrier, make sure to bring your office in a central place. You are projecting an image of being inaccessible or unfriendly. Town hall meeting, newsletters. If you must have a newsletter, it should be simple and useful, simple layout and easy to read. And of course, newsletters in the generally in Kurdistan or Iraq is somehow not used. However, it exists. Mail to all customers would be another type of visibility. Time management. Time is limited, so you should be used wisely rather than increasing the productivity by working more hours. You can do more in the same amount of time by using number of helpful techniques and doing little planning. Now, interruption. People or other external events interrupt you with requests. It is the job of IT to be interrupted. Okay, rather than or a system administrator, they say, rather than working on your high priority goals, you spend time responding to these requests, which are based on the people's priority. Try to prevent interruption in general, not specifically anyone comes to use anything. You say, well, I have a job. At that time, they will say that they will complain to your higher management. To prevent interruption, it would be in general, make sure people know when you do or do not want to be interrupted. Okay, if people are supposed to be open tickets rather than come to your desk, make sure that policy is advertised on your department. Let's say that in your department you say that anyone has a problem should not come and see me in person. Okay, we have a system for ticketing, and through the ticketing system, we will do everything. Management and managing interruption. Stay focused. Messy help desks are full of distraction that make it difficult for a brain to focus. Email can become one of the interruptions that prevent you from getting your job done. Okay, so stay focused. You can check your email regularly because after all, it will be your job to help the people. However, don't focus on it a lot. Splitting your day. Another way to manage interruption is to split your day between project time and customer focus time. Follow through. Follow through means completing what you committed to do. Whether you are use written paper, organizer, or smartphone app. Being organized goes a long way toward ensuring good follow through. Use organizer to remind yourself of a regular repeating events. Pre-compelling decisions. It is more efficient to make decision once rather than over and over again. Of course, decide to do something once and retain that decision. Example of mantras. It is always a good time to save your work. Always make backups. Record requests. Change tapes Monday, Wednesday, Friday. This is for those media corporations that they use tapes, or let's say sometimes they will have hard drives. They will have a sharing system, or as we call it, NAP, QNAP. The company will use it, and if you have your backup, please make sure to back up your informations. And for example, if the hard drives are now nearly full, change it before it reaches 90% of the limit. Now, also something else would be sooner is better than later, even in life. If there's something that you need to do, make sure to do it. Okay? Don't say, well, I will do it later, because later there will be customer requests, new hire processes, or computer problems, and you will not have the time for that. Now, finding free times. Easy way to find free time for an system administrator. Eliminating rather than automate. Stop reading social medias. Please don't use too many social medias, because your upper management will see that. Remove yourself from the two business mailing list if you are on. Okay, if you subscribe to a mailing list that they send you every like hour or two or three an email, you want to make sure that you are updated. However, it will take your time, and make sure if even you are using it, use it in a way that serve your work. Filter email, invest in training workshop and books, set priority with the key customers. Dealing with ineffective people. First, try to coach them. Second, work with them. Work with their management. Third, make sure that you are the highest priority. Interrupt. Stand in this person's office until your request is complete. Dealing with slow bureaucrats. The first technique is to befriend these bureaucrats. Get escalate to managers who have the authority to streamline process. Communication and negotiation. Even technical issues are communication issues. This is something that you need to that need to be in your mind always. Technical issues are communication issues. A dead desk on a server with a dead disk on a server is a problem only if no one communicated that an outage would be unacceptable, or if the communication was not listened to and acted on. SAs or system administrators need good negotiation skills, because they are often dealing with the vendors, customers, and their own superiors. Communication problems in life generally fall into four categories. My problems is when I have a problem, I need to make sure that I'm being heard. Your problem, when you bring a problem to me, and I need to make sure that I'm hearing you properly, so that I can take appropriate action or help you troubleshoot. Our problem, when you and I have a common problem, we need to be able to communicate with each other, so that we can agree on a problem definition and action plan. Others problems, when other problem have problem, I have to use discipline and not get involved in that problem. Negotiation, essay negotiation skill, recognizing the situation, format of a negotiation meeting, working toward a win-win outcome, planning your negotiation. Recognizing the situation. The first step in negotiation is to recognize that you are in the negotiation situation, not in a war uh, situation. When your team is in the negotiation situation, communication is the fact to the entire team. Format of a negotiation meeting. The general format for an effective negotiation meeting is to define the terms, get agreement on the common ground, and then work on the more difficult parts. Working toward a win-win outcome. Negotiation toward an agreement that makes both parties successful. Planning your negotiation. Planning is important. Sit down with the people who will be on your side and decide what they hope to gain. No competition. Do your homework. Remember the win-win goal. The motivation as system administrator. Many motivate people, but only in a short term. Some people are motivated by the good feeling they receive after helping someone. Okay, some person will say, well, I don't care about any feeling at all. Give my money, give me my good money, and I have no problem. Compliment you get from a boss propelling you, motivating you to continue achieve great things. It is important to learn accept compliments. When people deflect compliment, they do deserve uh, uh, they do a service to themselves. Maintaining a positive self-esteem and love in your job, maintain accomplishment wall where you post all positive feedback you receive. And here would be the end of chapter one. I hope you understand the chapter. And in case of any question, we will have a meeting so you can ask your questions. Thank you very much.